Hi everyone, this is Jess, aka Sketchwriter Jess. I've got a new tarot tale in the shop. It is like my tarot twin flame readings that I do on my channel, but it's got a little bit more heat to it, a little bit more force, if you will. It's kind of has a drive to it. It's not as much of like a lesson. It's more has more of a story quality to it. It's like more entertaining, I think. Um, and the end is nice. It's got some heat to it as well. It's more racy than the stuff I have on my channel, so it's worth the price. I mean, it feels good to read, and you get you get everything met. You get your brain met, you get your heart met, you get some body feelings. You get everything when you read my tarot tales. They're not just lessons. They're not just a regular tarot reading for insight and wisdom. They have more. They have more to them, and also I kind of see them as like an extremely short romance story, like a novel. Like my tarot readings always have happy endings, and they don't say things like they're gonna get engaged. They don't say things like that. I mean, they do say things like they're in union. But when somebody's in union, it doesn't mean they're married. It doesn't mean that at all. It can be that they're just together. There's no pressure. There's not that pressure of, oh, I'm going to get married. I'm going to get married. This is going to happen now. All right. No, that's not what my tarot readings are like. Um, they're not meant to give false hope. They're meant to give you insight, and they're meant to make you feel good. And when you're on the twin flame journey, you need all the good feelings you can get, in my opinion. I mean, sometimes I watch readings and I watch them, and sometimes they're kind of tough to watch because I feel like they don't have that much hope sometimes. It's all about working on yourself, doing this for you, and at some point it can't just be about you. At some point it's got to be about the other person, and you have to do something with the other person. It's the whole point of the union. You get together to do something with them. So if you have something in mind of the kinds of things you like to do, you think of those things and you find somebody and they like the same things, you have more of a chance of having a union with them than if it's just, it's fate and you're smack dab together. I mean, it's possible. I'm sure, when I met this guy, that, um, it might have been fated. I mean, I had started going to the restaurant. I hadn't gone there that often. I had gone there with my cousins a few times, and they were from out of town. I didn't go there too often. But I thought I'd check it out, and then he was there, and like at first I didn't really think anything of him. It was like he was there, and then I don't know. I introduced myself to him, and we shook hands, and that's when I felt this is different. This is different than I've ever of anybody I've ever met. And what made it different, and I've seen this on Instagram, is they say if you're feeling butterflies, you're feeling all these emotions and stuff, you're feeling nervous, you're feeling all giddy and stuff when you meet somebody, that's not your soulmate. But when you meet somebody who, you meet them and you feel at ease and you feel comfortable, and you don't feel that electric feeling, you don't feel you feel like you came home. Like, and it doesn't feel like family. It feels like something else. I feel like when I shook hands with him, I came home. That's how I feel, and that's why I can't get him out of my head. But I don't know if it's because the stars brought us together. I don't know. I know the only thing I know is I have no control over it. There's no control anymore on my part. And I need all the good vibes I can get on staying on the track to believing that love can be something more than just sex or more than just like having a good time. It can be, there's other things, there's other points to it. It's such a risk, it's such an undertaking to be in love with somebody. It's like the scariest, most painful thing, but it can have such good moments. It'd be really good. And I feel like in order to tell myself that I can just keep going, that if this guy goes away, that I may find somebody else, and if I feel those same feelings again, like I don't feel that giddiness, I feel like I'm with somebody that I have known for a long time, then I'm ready to accept it again. I'm ready to be in it again. But for right now, I'm just writing these tarot tales. Um, I hope they give you hope. I mean, um, and I have the free ones on here on my channel. I have 2 free ones every week. So, it all depends on what you feel like spending your money on, I guess. I mean, I have a tarot reader. I buy readings from her, and now she does something different. She's more like she foretells the future kind of. But I always feel like she puts a positive spin on hers, and that's what I like about them. So like I try to keep that in mind when I do mine. They're not like hers. I mean, I'm letting you know they're not. They're not the same at all. Um, However, uh, I don't know. A lot of tarot readings tend to be kind of sad, I think, and I don't think there's any reason why they need to be. Because if the future isn't written in stone, then there's always a possibility that things will work out. And so, in my tales, everything works out. If they work together, everything works out. When I write my tarot tales, I say together. I say it a lot. I say it about 3 times in the tarot reading. I say together they can do this or that. I don't say this or that, but I say together. And I was nervous about saying together because I thought, oh, people are gonna think it's stupid. Like together, like we go together, we're skipping together. But it's really the twin flames. People are together. It's 2 people, but they're doing so much. They feel so much. They've connected on a level that most people won't experience. They're not going to experience the nurturing. They're not going to experience those intense feelings. And they're not going to experience the satisfaction of joining together and doing something good for people. Like as a business or whatever. Like even if it's just charity or something. they're not going to experience the bond of having that and the physical bond and the love, emotional bond all together. I mean, it can make things complicated. I mean, if they just heard me right now, they're like, that sounds complicated. But I'm not sure it is. I think that the twin flame journey, I think, is one more of frustration because so much of it is about people separating and finding themselves. And if it's meant to be, they come back together and they kind of share what they learned when they were on their own. And I mean, that's kind of how it works. Excuse me. Sorry, I've been drinking soda. But people are so quick these days to just go with somebody because they're there. You know, they don't use any discernment at all about who they want to be with and what they're looking for. And I don't know, I've never understood that. I've never understood that whole I'm just gonna get with somebody tonight and we'll just have sex and then that's it, you know. I don't understand that. And I don't think I should have to. Like, I don't think I should have to, like, say, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do because that's the right thing because, like, well, all these things. There's no point in holding on to this anymore, and I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just gonna keep going with this healthy, emotional outlet of writing. Now, on Mental Health Monday, I talked about, I believe I talked about Camp NaNoWriMo. I don't remember. But anyways, I have decided to do Camp NaNoWriMo, and that means it's National Novel Writing Month, but it's in July. The big one's in November. The July one is camp, so it's a little different as everybody has a cabin. You're all together and you're all like talking to each other, so it's kind of cute. Um, and everybody just keeps their word count up, and then at the end to win, you have to like put it in this validator thing on the site. I've decided to write my novel. It's a romance novel. I've decided to write it on my weekends, like on the Friday and Saturday that I'm not working on the blog and the videos. So I mean that is one thing I'm doing. It's a romance novel, kind of like the Love Swept novels I talked about in that video. They're like uh romance novels, but they're like the thin ones. They're more like romantica, I guess. They're shorter. They're not as long, drawn out stories as like a regular romance novel. And I like them. I think they're fun to read and they give me hope. Like love can win. You can fall for somebody, be with them, enjoy being with them, and have a relationship, and you can do things together and make it work. And it's just a nice feeling to have, like after you read something, instead of feeling like it's some open-ended thing where like you don't know if it'll ever work, and it's just a dystopian world, dystopian ending, whatever. Whatever. There's just so many fiction things now where everything, no one believes anything is really good. It's like everything has a bad ending or something. It always seems that way to me. Like, I always feel like I can pick up a book and I know this is gonna be really difficult to read, so I put it back down. I don't buy it. And I don't know. I'm at the point where I just need to have like a relaxing time. And writing a romance novel would be a nice way to get all this energy out. The terror tales are like something that helps get the energy out. Um, my romance novel won't be like the terror tales. Um, it'll probably have more physical descriptions, but it may still have that clean element of like not being so physical that it feels like a nasty feeling. You know what I mean? Like that nasty feeling, like you're reading something. I don't know, like very adult. Like I don't know. After a while, that kind of stuff gets boring, I think. So, like, my books, I want them to be more exciting because the word choices I use are more bold and they're not your standard word choices. I mean, if you read my terror tales, you can kind of see a sampling of like what would be in a romance novel, but there would still be a little more heat and a little more physical description, probably. Um, just just because it's a novel, it's a story, it's not a tarot reading. So it's meant to be read like a story. It's meant to be like pure entertainment, pretty much. Um, there may be some new age elements in it. There may be some stuff like that, but I'm not sure yet. Thinking of just writing it like it's just two people and they meet and they have their good times and their bad times and they have their fun times and then I don't know, we'll see what happens. But I don't know if I'm gonna actually base it on anybody. I'm just thinking of just coming up with some characters and just like thinking back to things I've experienced, in terms of the feelings I've experienced for men that I've had. So, so at some point, the romance novel will be out. It's gonna be written hopefully in 8 days, but like 8 days over the couple weeks, so like I'll have fresh eyes when I see it each time. So the first draft will hopefully be done in a month. Means I'd have to write at least about, I don't know, 15,000, anywhere from 10 to 15,000 words over the weekend. I think I could do that because it's a 50,000 word book. I might want to shoot for 60,000. So if I did 10,000 words um, for 6 days, then I'd have a 60,000 word novel, which is about what these books have. They have about 60,000 words, I think, and so it'll be like that. I'm so tired. I've been working on this for hours. It's been hours. It's not just the story. It's the graphics for the blurb and for the cover. Just laying out the cards, looking up the meanings. There's a lot that goes into all these readings that I do. And I don't know. I hope you guys are getting something from it. I know I get something from it. I get a sense of fulfillment. Like it makes sense that I love people at all. It makes sense that I allow myself to be in love with somebody. Like I allow myself to be open to that, to be letting somebody in. And in this case, with this person that I am, I don't know what with, I let him in, I let him just let him in. It's the only way I can describe it. I mean, it was all flirting and very intense flirting, but uh, I don't know. It's hard to stop thinking about it because it was so intense. It's like when somebody looks at you a certain way and it's like it never stops. Like they're always looking at you that way. And then all of a sudden they stop looking at you that way and they act like an asshole. Well, it's like, what? So, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just like figure out how to let him go. I'm hoping that with this romance novel I can kind of get into thinking of just the fantasy of people, just like this other creation that has nothing to do with me. It is just a thing, and it's in its own little bubble, and it'll be amazing. And that's my goal when it comes to something like this. I always try to take myself out of it. And with the Terror Tales, I think I'm pretty good at taking myself out of it. At least I'm getting better at that. I'm not inserting myself into it as much. And I feel like that's how the novel has to be. It has to have an element of like, you're looking into these people's lives and you have no idea who they are. And because you don't know them, you're fully absorbed in them. Because you have no idea who they are. I know it sounds weird, but I think the best books have an element of like, you live inside the book. You never feel like, oh, it's all about me. It has to do with me. Like, like when you read a self-help book or something. It's all about me. It's all about me. When you read fiction, it's all about the story and it's all about the characters and like all the things that they go through. And yeah, I mean, you think about yourself and you think about things that make sense to you, but there are things that are outside your grasp when you're reading these books, and it's like in another world. It's like another place, like you stepped into another world. That's what the best books do. That's what the best stories do. I mean, I read short stories as well, and that's what the best literature does. It doesn't matter whether it's like genre literature, if it's mainstream, or if it's like literary novel. The best stories take you out of yourself, place you somewhere else, and you can absorb everything in a way that is special because it's quiet. And you're like looking at the words, and you can close the book at any time. You can stop reading at any time, and you can just absorb what you just saw in your head, what you felt in your heart. Put it all together. Then you can pick it up again and read more. It's a special thing. I think books are really special. As something, I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always wanted to do that. And I'm doing it now. I've always written, though. I've written like fully, like all the time since I was about 20 something. I really was like journaling every day, but a lot of it didn't go anywhere, and it was just almost like just psychological junk. I mean, like I didn't have anything for the most part that was really worth keeping. For a while when I journaled, it was just like pattern notes and stuff with my patterns, knitting crochet patterns and stuff. I kind of like stopped writing emotional stuff at all. I couldn't feel I didn't want to feel the emotions anymore, so we stopped. A lot of my fiction in my past has been mostly like kind of like basing it on aspects of my life. With this novel that I want to write now, I want it to have nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with love itself. Not going to be anybody who is like me. It's all going to be something else. I don't know how that's going to look, but it's going to be something different than what I usually do. So, I'm Sketchwriter Jess on Instagram. My blog is sketchwriterjess.com. I'm Sketchwriter Jess on Etsy also. I'll have a link below that you can copy and paste to get to my shop to buy the listing. It's a long link, so you'll have to it'll be long to try to copy and paste. It'll be in the description box. And hopefully this opened your eyes a little bit to the possibilities of dealing with, finding ways to deal with things, finding ways, healthy ways to deal with something instead of being in a loop and feeling like you can't do anything about it. It's like, to me, like what I'm doing is I'm just dealing with the not having it and just writing and just saying, well, okay, I can have this, like I can have this if I contribute to somebody, anybody that I'm in a relationship with. And I think that's a good thing. And I think a good reading makes you think about what you can contribute, what you can do to make things better. Oh, excuse me, I'm just burping a lot because of my soda. I'm like the one person who doesn't drink coffee on camera. You know how like on YouTube everybody drinks coffee on camera? And they go, I get my coffee. Yeah, I know. That's like a marketing ploy. I drink coffee too. I drink a lot of coffee, but I don't usually drink it on camera. I just see it as like a personal thing. It's my special coffee, so I have it whenever I want. I can have it when I'm working on my stuff. I can have it whenever I want, so I am just talking and talking again. Okay, I really am going to sign off this time. I'll have that all in the description box, and I'll see you for Mental Health Monday. Bye.